Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And it has been such a wonderful day today. I was actually thinking about this when I was like walking around inside. I was like cleaning stuff up, putting stuff away, because today was Cousin Fun Day. So I ran around with my cousin Caroline today, and we did errands and stuff like that. And last week we didn't do it. We skipped last week because she had some stuff going on. So we had so much fun today, and we were running here, running there. We were laughing and all this kind of stuff. And so I usually like bring this stuff home and put it in the kitchen, and then I do like a haul in the kitchen. But I was like, I'm just gonna leave it out here on the front porch and just do it out here. And so I went inside and I was like putting this stuff away. I brought Boo Radley out. He was running around the street. He was talking to the guy that was like working on the underground lines. Boo was talking to him. He was barking at him. The guy was like, oh, he's ferocious. It was so funny. And I always say to people, I was like, he doesn't have any teeth. And Boo's like, oh, he's like barking in the wind as he's like running around. And my neighbors like walked down the street, and I was talking to them about how nice it is outside today. It's been so cold in Indianapolis the last couple days, and today it's a little bit warmer. I'd say it's probably like 5 degrees, 10 degrees warmer. But the sun has been out a lot today, and it just is such a prettier day. And I didn't even get a lot of sleep last night. I only probably got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep last night, and I just feel like in such a great mood today. And so I was thinking about this when I was in the kitchen, and I remember when I worked in treatment, we did this thing every morning, which was called Community, with like all of the patients and stuff, you know. And in there we would say, like, each person would identify themselves. Like I would say, I'm Peter, and today I choose to feel. And I remember it was like this other counselor that I worked with, and she was the one that started this whole like choosing how you feel kind of thing. And I really challenged it at the time, like when I first heard it, you know. And I said, what do you mean? Because you could go around and you'd say, today I feel. Like you could say, I feel angry. We had like feelings charts, you know. And you could say, I feel angry, I feel happy, I feel excited, I feel hesitant, you know, the feelings things, right? But if you've ever been in counseling, therapy, or whatever, you know, you treatment, you know the feelings charts. So the ones with the faces on them, and they show the like, that's like sad, you know, that's like angry. It has a face. You can Google search on like feelings charts, right? But like when it would come to her, she would say, this was like when I first started working with her, she would say, today I choose to feel, while everybody else in the room was saying, today I feel, right? And so I remember, because like at some point, like some of the patients started changing and saying, today I choose to feel. And I said, why do you say, like, I choose to feel? Like, I don't believe that we choose our feelings every day. And she was like, absolutely we do. And I said, what do you mean we choose your feelings? And she was like, when we wake up and we're not having a great day, because this happens, like, we choose to feel how we want to respond to that. Like, we can't choose what happens in our life. And I go, okay, but what if something really sad happens to you? Well, and she said, well, you have a right to feel sad. You can choose to feel sad, right? It's not like in that moment, like it's a right or a wrong thing. Like if you're choosing to be sad or you're choosing to be angry, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be angry about something or to be sad about something. But just recognize that you're choosing that feeling, right? And I'm like, okay, so if you're going through some tragedy, what would be a different feeling to feel than just like sad or scared? And she goes, calm. And I go, okay. And she was like, in a situation like that, you could be calm. You know, I'm choosing to be calm in this situation I'm going through. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And she's like, when you look at any situation that you're given, you have, and I mean, this took me years and years and years. You guys have heard me talk about this over here for a long time, about being responsive versus reactive. And that's what she was really talking about that day, is that when we get up and when we wake up for the day, like whatever we're dealt, whatever cards we're dealt that day, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're tragic, whether they're horrific or exciting, you know, we might be going on a trip. You know, I know people that like are going on a trip and they are just like, you talk to them about like, oh my God, are you so excited about this trip? Well, not really. Like, I mean, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, you know? And then, like, I mean, the trip's only, like, 4 days. I'm like, you're literally going on a trip. Are you not excited about it, you know? And it's like, so we do really have a choice in how we respond to things. And I love that when she said that. And I will say initially it wasn't just like the next day it was like, yeah, I choose to feel this way. I mean, it took me a little bit of time to get behind that. But I think about that often when I wake up today, you know? Is I think about the fact that I get to choose how I feel today. I get to choose how I respond to the world, you know? And how what happens my way. And I think like the example that she used, I mean, God, that was, I haven't worked there in, I mean, over 15 years. I left in 2008, so 16 years ago I left there. And I still think about that, you know? About that example that she gave me of well, you could choose to respond to something and be calm. I don't know that calm is a feeling that I've chosen much in my life until the last couple years when I've responded to things, you know? And it's how I get to respond to the world. Do I get to respond to things excited or happy, you know? And we were out today at Costco, and this woman, we were walking to Caroline's car, and this woman came up to me as we were walking, and she was like, Peter Monn. And this is the thing, I told Caroline this. It's funny to me, and it very rarely happens that people that watch my videos come up to me in public, like very rarely. It happens to my husband actually more than it happens to me. The people come up to him and be like, are you Peter Monn's husband? I watch his videos. But very rarely does it happen to me. And that's what people always do. They don't look at me and say, like, very rarely do they come up to me and say, oh, like, you're Peter Monn, I watch your videos. Or sometimes people will say to me, like, are you Peter Monn? But typically what people do is they'll just kind of, like, walk by me and they'll say, like, Peter Monn. I remember this one time I was coming out of Barnes & Noble, and this girl looked at me and she goes, Peter, she, like, under her breath, as she passed me, she was like, Peter likes books. And I was like, oh, do you watch my channel? She's like, I love your channel, your BookTube channel. So very rarely do people say it. Well, this woman was, like, getting out of her car and going in, and we were coming, you know, towards Caroline's car, and she said, Peter Monn. And this is the thing, right? And I told Caroline this, and Caroline was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. So as a recovering person, when I see somebody and they, like, say my name, I'm like, do I know them from a meeting? Like, are they somebody that I went to a meeting with 10 or 15 years ago that I just don't remember? And so I said to this woman, I said, I'm sorry, do I know you? And she said, yeah, I'm so-and-so. And she said, I met you like a while ago. And I'm like looking at her like, I must know her from like a meeting or something, and I just don't remember. That happens to me more often than being seen in public, that people recognize me from my videos, right? That people will be like, oh, you know, like we went to this meeting together. I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember you, right? And so this woman was so nice, and she was like, I saw you at Crumble Cookies, I took a picture with you, and she was like telling me the whole backstory and stuff, and she was so friendly, and she was so nice. I was like, well, this is my cousin Caroline. She's like, I know you from Peter's video. She was so nice, and she just was so sweet. And Caroline, we got in the car, and Caroline was like, she said, you're so, like, whenever we, like, go to a store or whatever, she's like, you're so socially awkward, you're so shy, and things like that. She's like, but when somebody comes up to you and they approaches you, you're always, like, so nice, and you're so excited to see somebody. And, you know, I thought about that, like, in that moment, it really is a choice, you know? Like, I could just be like, oh, hi, it's nice to meet you. But, you know, I always get so excited in that moment when that happens, you know? And so it's like this, like, and this person, she was so nice to me. She said, like, I see you on video. She's like, but you're, and I'm not just patting my own back. She did say this to me in this parking lot. She was like, you are so handsome in person. And she was like, you're just so nice. And she was like, I always love seeing you. And she, like, I guess she'd seen me 2 other times or something like that. One at Crumble Cookies and one other time. And she's always like, you're just always so nice when I see you in person and whatever. It made me feel so good, right? And so I was thinking a lot about that, like, choosing when we wake up in the day, you know, and it goes back to like when I do my prayers and my meditations for the day. And I actually didn't plan on doing this whole video about this, which I guess I'm going to turn it into this because I brought the meditations out here. But when I do my prayers and my meditations for the day, and I've talked a lot about this, right? That one of the things that I say in there that my therapist taught me years ago was, are you ready to start your day? It's a question I ask myself, right? And I actually said this on a video a while ago, and somebody said, yeah, well, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, like, which is what I always hear, which is what I would have said 5 years ago. I have a million things to do. I don't have time to ask myself, do I have to start my day? You know, I said in there, you can take 30 seconds. I literally said in the video, you can take 30 seconds to a minute to yourself to get yourself centered for the day. I mean, all you have to do is say to yourself, today I'm going to have a good day. Today's going to be a good day, and whatever comes my way, I'm going to treat with calmness. God, please look over me today. If you're a religious person, that took less than 15 seconds. And people in the comment section said to me, I do not have that kind of time. I have to do this, I have to do that. You don't have 15 seconds out of your day. While you're tying your kid's his shoes, you don't have 15 seconds. While you're getting in the car, you don't have 15 seconds to just say a prayer over your day. Or a positive affirmation over your day. You don't have 15 seconds out of your day. I don't buy that. I think that's bullshit, anybody that says that, right? Somebody that says that doesn't believe in the idea that positivity, positive thinking can change your attitude, and it 100% can. It 100% can. Trust me, as somebody that lived very negative and saw the glass as half empty instead of half full for a very long time, those simple words of just saying to myself as I counted them out, you know, could change my day. And so when I ask myself, am I ready to start my day? Am I ready not to? That doesn't mean that, like, if something happens, if a neighbor comes running over here with the phone calls, that I'm go, no, I can't deal with this right now. I haven't started my day. I mean, it's just being aware of the fact of what state of mind I'm in. That question is more about asking yourself, what state of mind am I in right now, right? Like, what am I able to handle? Or maybe today is not the day that I'm choosing calmness. Maybe I'm not, like, prepared for that today. Like, I always say this about recovery, and I say this about a lot of things, but, like, awareness is really, like, the first step. It's really, like, the first key. And that's not just in recovery. That's in anything, right? Like, awareness of where we're at as we go through our day. You know, like, I mean, I'm sure, like, you, like, many of you out there, I, too, wake up some days, and I'm just not feeling that great. I'm just like, today is not the day, you know? The way that my friend Tanya Jean and I say it is, like, today I have no business being around people, right? Well, when you work, and you have to be around people, or you're raising kids, and have a family, or you're taking care of your parents, or whatever you're doing, you don't have a choice on whether you're around people or not. You know what I'm saying? And I think about that from back in the day. But, you know, there's been many times in my life when I have woken up and felt like today's not the day. Like, I am just, like, not feeling it today, whatever. But I have things I have to do, you know? I have to go to appointments, or back in the day when I was, like, you know, going into a job every day for, like, 8-10 hours, you know, and having to work. Like, I didn't have that choice, right? But I think those were the days that, had I asked myself, you know, on the way to work, like, are you ready to start your day? No, I'm not feeling great today, whatever. That, like, maybe I would have met people with more patience. Maybe I would have met people that came at me and were like, oh my God, blah, blah, whatever, that I would have just said to them, like, you know, I'm not feeling great today, and, like, can we table this till tomorrow? Or, like, okay, can you give me 5 minutes and let myself get settled? Like, I today know to say those things to go into conversations. Like, if I'm not having a great day, or my husband's not having a great day, that is not the day to have a serious conversation about a relationship, right? And unless it's, like, life-threatening, that's a conversation that can probably be tabled for a day or two. And today I know that, you know, like, my husband will look at me and I'll be like, can we talk about this, like, financial situation, or this trip that we're planning, or whatever? And he'll be like, babe, I'm really not in a place today. I've had a long day at work. Can we wait till this weekend? I'm like, yeah, totally fine. What day? Saturday or Sunday after brunch. Let's do it. Because we don't, like, have serious talks at brunch usually. And I'm like, that's perfect. Or he'll come to me and he'll be like, can we talk about this situation, like, to do with insurance or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, but, like, I've been filming videos all day. I'm not, like, really in the mood to talk. And he'll be like, okay, when can we do it? Tomorrow night would be great. Okay, fine. Tomorrow night after I get home from work, we'll sit down and talk about it. You don't always have to have those heated conversations right in the moment. I think most of my biggest fights that I've ever had in my life with friends and, you know, people in my life has partly been because of my mental state, or their mental state at the moment, at that time. That there were other things. Like, have you ever been having an argument with somebody and you're like, this is really not about what we're talking about. This isn't really about me. This is really about their state of mind, of where they're at today, of what's happened. Like, they've had a long day. They've worked 10 hours. You know, I can remember, like, my dad would come home from work. This was before my parents were separated. I don't know how I remember this, but my mom would be, like, setting the table, and she would say to me things like, okay, let's not stress your dad out when he comes through the door, because your dad doesn't like to be stressed out because he's worked 14 hours today, right? And my dad, you know, coming home from surgery or whatever, he'd come through the door, and my mom, I could see it, like, in her eyes, right? Because she would do the same thing with me as I became an adult. She could make it about 2 minutes, and then she just started firing away. Well, I need this fixed, and I need that. And my dad, you could just see it come over my dad. My dad was just like, oh my God, like, seriously? And so I think that's where, like, today, like, my husband comes home from work, and, like, I let him lay in bed for a good hour and watch TikToks and changes to his comfy clothes and hang out with Boo Radley. He don't want to talk. He's been talking to people all day long. You know what I mean? And I think it's about really meeting people where they're at, starting our day. And so I think, you know, for me, the whole idea of, am I ready to start my day, is really a question of, where am I at today? You know? And if maybe I'm in a really negative space, or I'm not, what do I need to do to fix that? Do I then need to go to gratitude? And so right after I've said that 15-second prayer, do I need to do a 10-second gratitude list, where for 10 seconds I list 10 things I'm really grateful for that I wouldn't have if I didn't have my life today? Now that's taken me 25 seconds. So we don't have 30 seconds to 60 seconds in our day to round ourselves out. A gratitude list, a 10-list gratitude list of me saying, I'm grateful, number one, that I'm here. I'm grateful for my life, my health, my sobriety, my husband, my dog, my marriage, my home, to keep me protected, safe, and warm, clean water, food to eat, you know, I mean, the ability to pay my bills, my family that loves me, my friends that love me. I mean, I just listed like 15 things, you know. How long did that take me? 10 seconds? Totally can change your attitude about things, right? And so I think it's so, so important, you know, to to do that. And that whole idea of like choosing your feelings for the day, you know, I remember I also have shared this story before that I worked with this girl, and she got like someone put like a bad review or something up, and she was so angry about it. And I remember that day she was so pissed, and we were working together. This was like my first year working together in treatment, and I said something, and she goes, yeah, and I can choose my feelings, because she was like echoing this woman, like kind of like being sarcastic, and she goes, and today I'm choosing to be angry. All day I'm choosing to be angry. And I remember later thinking about that when I went home, because I thought it was so funny, like at that time. And then I remember thinking later, why would you choose to be angry all day? But she did, you know, and she was aware of it, right? So, you know, as I was sitting here talking about this, I was talking about community, and I haven't done this for a long time. So for the people that have never heard this before, I want to read this. There is a thing that we used to, it's by Heart Soul Wilson, and it is a prayer poem. It has like a God in it, but like I think the original one doesn't have God in it. But it's this thing that we used to say every day when we would start community when I worked in treatment. And I love this so much. I love this so much. I still like, I have it, keep it saved in my phone. I actually just Google searched it so you can look it up. It's all over the place. It's Heart Soul Wilson, Heart S-I-L-L Wilson, and it's the beginning of a new day. And this is what it says, and I love this. And this will probably take me 20 seconds to read. So a positive affirmation for your day and a 10-second gratitude list will take you less than a minute, 2 minutes to do to start your day. And if this is not a good reminder of how to have a great day, I don't know what is. The beginning of a new day. This is the beginning of a new day. I'll let this car pass by. This is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or use it for good. What I do today is very important because I am exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving something in the place I have traded for it. I want it to be a gain, not a loss. Good, not evil. Success, not failure. In order that I shall not regret the price I paid for it. Each and every day, we are gifted another day. What we do with it, the attitude that we have as we approach it, and interact with people throughout the day, that's on us. That's up to us. How we choose to spend that, that's on us as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.